Breaking news out of Las Vegas. The Raiders may be on the verge of some major roster shakeups after minicamp. A new signing has turned heads, and there could be surprises coming when the 53-man roster is revealed. If you're a true member of Raider Nation, this is the news you can't afford to miss. We're breaking it all down, position by position. So stay locked in, and let's get into it. Raiders 53-man roster update starts here. Raider Nation, get ready, because things just got real. The Silver and Black have 91 players on the roster right now, but only 53 spots are up for grabs. With Germaine Pratt now in the building, the competition is heating up. And today, we're diving into who's staying and who might be on the way out. But before we break down the latest names, do me a quick favor. Subscribe to the channel, give this video a like, and hit that bell icon so you never miss breaking Raiders news. Alright, let's jump into the action. The Raiders have 4 QBs, Geno Smith, Aiden O'Connell, Cam Miller, and Carter Bradley. Let's be honest, Geno Smith is the clear starter, no debate needed. The real battle? It's between O'Connell and rookie Cam Miller for the backup job. Only 3 QBs will make the cut, and Carter Bradley might be the odd man out. Next up, the backfield. Las Vegas used a top 10 pick to grab Ashton Jeanty, and you better believe he's going to get a heavy workload. Sure, Coach Carroll mentioned running back by committee, but make no mistake, Jeanty is the guy. Behind him, expect Raheem Mostert and Sincere McCormick to lock down spots. That leaves Zamir White, Dylan Laub, and Chris Collier fighting for what could be just one final spot. Zamir has slimmed down, but will that be enough? At this point, it might come down to a coin flip between Laub and Collier, and that could mean White is the odd man out. Let's keep it real. When you're building a 53-man roster, it's not always about the most talented players. Sometimes it comes down to special teams value, and that's exactly where this battle gets interesting. Zamir White may have raw talent, but if he doesn't bring enough on special teams, he could be the one left out. Dylan Laub, on the other hand, has been standing out with his speed, versatility, and impact on special teams. That's the edge he needs, and it could be what earns him that final running back spot. Now, let's move over to the wide receiver room, and here's where things really start to shift. If the season kicked off today, the top 3 wideouts would likely be Trey Tucker, Braylon Trice, and Dante Thornton Jr. These guys have made serious noise in minicamp, and they've earned their place. But here's the twist. In past roster projections, we had the Raiders keeping 6 receivers. Now, just 5. That means Jacoby Myers stays, along with the 3 rookie receivers and Trey Tucker. No room for extra depth this time. Why the change? Because the Raiders are leaning heavily into tight end-heavy formations. Reports from camp say we're going to see a lot of 2 or even 3 tight end sets this season, just like Pete Carroll did back in Seattle. With Brock Bowers, Michael Mayer, and others looking sharp, the team is choosing to bulk up at tight end, and that means trimming the wide receiver group. So the question now is, will the Raiders' offense look more like a ground-and-pound machine with power formations? Or will they still find ways to stretch the field with their speed? Either way, the message is clear. This offense is being built differently, and some big names might be left off because of it. Let's dive into one of the most competitive rooms on the roster, the tight ends. There's no doubt about the top 2. Brock Bowers and Michael Mayer are locked in. These 2 are going to be a nightmare for defenses. Speed, size, hands, and power all in one package. But behind them, the battle gets serious. Ian Thomas has been exactly what the Raiders were hoping for in a TE3. Steady hands, physical in the run game, and dependable in the red zone. He's not flashy, but he gets the job done, and that matters in this system. Now, the big question. Will the Raiders carry a 4th tight end? With how much they're leaning into tight end-heavy formations, the answer might be yes. And based on what we've seen in practice from June 10th to 12th, the name that's starting to turn heads is Qadir Ismail. Long, athletic, and dangerous as a receiving threat, He brings something different to the table. If you're looking for a TE4 who stretches the field, Ismail might just be your guy. Let's shift to the offensive line, where the Raiders are clearly building from the trenches. No matter who lines up at quarterback or running back, it all starts here. The starters are set, no surprises there. But behind them, decisions are being made that could affect depth and flexibility across the board. One of the big debates has been between Thayer Munford and Dalton Wagner. In past projections, it was neck and neck. But right now, Munford gets the edge. Why? Versatility. He's been working at left guard behind Dylan Parham, and that flexibility matters. Wagner might be the stronger tackle, but Munford's ability to move inside gives the Raiders more options. Add in rookies like Charles Grant and Caleb Rogers, both of whom the team just drafted. There's no way they're getting cut. Also worth noting, Jordan Meredith has been handling backup center duties behind Jackson Powers Johnson, showing more movement and awareness than expected. Now let's switch gears and head straight into the defensive side of the football. When it comes to edge rushers, there are a few names you can lock in without question. Max Crosby, the heart and soul of this defense. Tyree Wilson, last year's top pick who's starting to look more confident and explosive. Malcolm Kuntz, a rising force who's been consistently making plays. But after those three, the race tightens. The Raiders have a few decisions to make. There's Andre Carter, a player with potential but not much buzz this offseason, John Joyner and Javi Harvey, two undrafted rookies who've shown flashes but need time. And then there's Charles Snowden. If you've been paying attention to this Raiders camp, you've heard Snowden's name a lot. Coaches and teammates love his length, motor, and toughness. He may not be a star, not yet, but he's dependable, improving, and fits what the staff is looking for in their rotational edge guys. One coach even compared him to a light version of Bruce Irvin. Long arms, explosive burst, and special teams upside. He's earned this shot. And based on everything coming out of the building, Charles Snowden looks like he's forcing his way onto the 53rd. Now let's move inside, to the defensive tackles. Here's where it gets a little concerning. Christian Wilkins, the Raiders' big free agent signing, hasn't practiced yet. It's likely precautionary, but if there's any lingering issue heading into the season, the team needs depth, and fast. That opens the door for several players to step up. The defensive tackle battle is heating up, and let's be honest, the Raiders can't afford to gamble here. You need depth in the trenches. That's why keeping 6 defensive tackles isn't a luxury. It's a necessity. At the top of the list is Christian Wilkins, the marquee free agent who's expected to anchor the interior. Adam Butler returns with a new deal and a solid veteran presence. Then come the rookies, Tonka Hemingway and J.J. Peggs, both drafted to bring explosiveness and grit. Nesta Jade Silvera, a.k.a. Big Nesta, has taken most of the first-team nose tackle reps. His size alone makes him hard to ignore. And finally, there's Matthew Butler, a quiet riser who's made enough noise during camp to stay in the mix. Reports from within the building suggest the staff sees real growth in his technique and awareness. Don't be surprised if Butler becomes a rotational anchor this year. That gives us 35 total players. But now it's time for the most chaotic position on the roster, linebacker. The Raiders shocked some fans by signing Jermaine Pratt, a physical, proven linebacker with leadership written all over him. He instantly becomes the highest paid and most experienced backer on the team. So who else earns a spot? Divine Diablo is a lock. Luke Masterson has done enough to stay. Amari Gaynor, the rookie, has flashed elite coverage instincts, and he's someone Max Crosby himself has praised. Tommy Eichenberg, though inconsistent, brings toughness and run-stopping smarts. That's 6 linebackers, and it might sound like a lot. But here's the thing. With the NFL's new kickoff return rules, linebackers with special teams ability are more valuable than ever. And this group? They're fast, physical, and versatile. Exactly what you need for return coverage. If this linebacker room stays healthy and gels under Antonio Pierce's watch, it could be one of the most underrated units in the AFC West. Let's wrap this up the only way it deserves, with real decisions, not soft takes. The linebacker core is deep, but special teams change everything. You're not putting Pratt, Robert Spillane, or Curtis Robinson out there on kick returns. No way. But rookies like Lindbergh, Amari Gaynor, and Tommy Eichenberg, they'd kill for that role. They want to hit, they want to stay. Now, onto the cornerbacks, and this group has firepower and question marks. Eric Stokes and Darian Porter were often the top two during minicamp. Jacorian Bennett, last year's top corner, is still recovering but expected back soon. Darnay Holmes? He's in danger. A surprise cut isn't off the table if the staff favors someone like Quinterio Cole or rookie Q Blue Kelly. I'm only keeping 5 corners, and here's the truth. It wasn't easy. Cam Richardson is the toughest call. Scouts are split. Flashes potential, but lacks consistency. Let's wrap this up the only way it deserves, with real decisions, not soft takes. The linebacker core is deep, but special teams change everything. You're not putting Pratt, Robert Spillane, or Curtis Robinson out there on kick returns. No way. But rookies like Lindbergh, Amari Gaynor, and Tommy Eichenberg, they'd kill for that role. They want to hit. They want to stay. Now, on to the cornerbacks, and this group has firepower and question marks. Eric Stokes and Darian Porter were often the top 2 during minicamp. Jacorian Bennett, last year's top corner, is still recovering but expected back soon. Darnay Holmes? He's in danger. A surprise cut isn't off the table if the staff favors someone like Quinterio Cole or rookie Q Blue Kelly. I'm only keeping 5 corners, and here's the truth. It wasn't easy. Cam Richardson is the toughest call. Scouts are split, flashes potential, but lacks consistency. Meanwhile, Porter and Stokes have stacked strong reps, and that matters. Now to safety. A spot with serious logjam. Jeremy Chin and Isaiah Polamau are locks. Lonnie Johnson Jr. has earned a role, flashing versatility and familiarity with both Marcus Robertson and Joe Woods.